Today on the Eurotruck podcast, the ending of the EVO Championship was crazy. Street Fighter V DLC can be unlocked by just playing the game. Blizzard aims to reduce WoW queues, and Deadpool has returned to Steam. Hello and welcome to the Eurotruck podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Some person off screen.
Freelance gamer.
Well, we had to evade some mafia, so we had a nice rolling start today.
Our money finally caught up to us.
We almost started a gang war, or mafia war, if you will.
In Britain.
Oh God, that reminds me of the MySpace game.
I think it was a Facebook game, but equally as bad.
That?
Regardless of whether it was which platform.
I mean, it wasn't terrible.
I mean, it's as bad as a Facebook game could be.
It's a Zynga game. That's about all.
Yeah, more particularly as bad as a Zynga game could be.
Exactly.
So,
Oh,
anything interesting happening for you guys? Do anything?
I started playing Zombies Run this week.
What's that?
It's a like how do I describe it? Like an augmented reality jogging game.
So you jog in a game instead of in real life?
No, it's kind of like if Runkeeper had a Welcome to Night Vale style audio podcast playing.
Oh.
And there was like item pickup and like not Fallout, tower defense elements. I think that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, sure. I don't know. It's been fun. The story's really good. The acting within it, because it's an audio only. The actory's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I know me and you, Andy, were on Gmod Tower this weekend, and we found out that they're doing a project called Tower Unite.
Yep.
What's that?
It's Gmod Tower.
Yeah.
But
which is kind of like a small like community simulator where you're a person, you have your own condo, you can go around and do different mini games with other people, or you can go to they have like a nightclub, a movie theater, you could put YouTube content on it.
It's a community simulator. That's actually a really great set of terms. I dig that.
Yeah. The biggest problem that it has is that it's all centric to Gary's mod and Source. Mm-hmm. And so it has a lot of issues that are related to the fact of how it's being emulated.
To the point of which that if you experience 500 Lua errors, you get an achievement. So it's kind of expected that you're going to run into these things. And they're switching over to the Unreal 4 engine.
Correct.
Unreal Engine 4. Sorry.
So the mod itself is upgrading.
Yeah. So
well, they're getting it. They're going to be making their own independent one, and I think the current early access on Greenlight price is 15.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the Gmod Tower version, like the Gary's mod version, I imagine will probably sunset at some point. They'll probably keep it up for a while, though.
Okay, so they're basically scrapping the whole mod thing and starting from scratch.
Yeah, it's becoming a whole new product.
Its own entity.
Yep.
That's actually kind of clever, and especially because that's something I would pay $15 for, mainly because I spent $26 on Minecraft. Or not 26, whatever its original price was. I think it was
$22, $23. I think it was when we bought it.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like euros to USD.
Yeah.
But I do remember. Yeah, I remember that. And I mean, we see how much usage that's got.
Don't take the exit for Grimsy.
That's some good news to me. And speaking of the news, it's time to go on to the news.
Oh God, Jeff, why you slow down?
I didn't.
It's part of the news today. Jefferson B slows down and Freelance smashes into him.
Almost.
4 at 11. So this past weekend was the Evolution Championship series, or the EVO series. And Kyle's got some information about that and some interesting things that happened.
Yeah, this was the largest EVO tournament they had. EVO is probably it is the biggest U.S. at least fighting game tournament. This year they had Street Fighter 4, Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U, Killer Instinct, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Guilty Gear X, Mortal Kombat X, Super Smash Bros. Melee. They're still using that, by the way, to this day. That's still a centric fighting tournament game. Persona 4 Arena and Tekken 7. And Persona 4 Arena is what they replaced, I believe, Blaze Blue with this year. And the tournaments were there were some really good ones. Particularly, my favorite was the Street Fighter 4 tournament. That was awesome. the last two players, the finalists. All right, so it's best of 5 matches, 3 rounds per match. And what it came down to was in the 5th match, round 1 went to a guy by the name of Momochi, and then in round 2, Momochi's controller broke and caused him to pause. That cost him that round. So it went from being 1-0 to 1-1. It went from 1-0 to 1-1, and Momochi had a broken controller. So they searched the crowd, found themselves another controller. The other person, whose name is Gamer B, took the round. They went to round 3, and with the new stick after his stick broke, Momochi won the finals for the Street Fighter EVO Tournament. Both of them, while doing this, qualified for the Capcom Championship, though. So they're still going to both be going out and probably playing each other again, possibly, at Capcom. So it was a really interesting set, though. Like it was really like round 5 hype for anyone who does salty bets became match 5 hype for EVO.
I can only imagine what it must have been like to be that guy in the crowd who just, for some reason or another, brought his control stick.
Well, it was still the day of all the fighters, so everybody was still there from earlier who were playing each other with their sticks. And then someone just donated their stick, and the guy won with it. So that was really good. Like that was a really good fight. Like edge of seat, definite.
Was it better than the Mayweather fight?
Oh yeah, dude, I would watch Evo over that or most boxing fights with Mayweather every time, because the man. Just speaking of Mayweather, he just stays at a distance, gets points, and then stays away from you, and that's his whole fighting technique, and it's boring as shit to watch, but he's good at it.
Yeah. I saw that they're promoting, I think on CBS, there's going to be another boxing fight coming up, and I was like, is this going to suck as much as the Mayweather fight?
Yeah, we'll see.
But, so building on that, Street Fighter V is currently on its way into production, and one of the things that they said they were going to do to kind of set it apart from a lot of video games today that have DLC.
Including Street Fighter 4, by the way, technically.
Okay. So, typically, DLC can only be purchased with hard-earned cash. You stick it in your $2.99 and you get some kind of arbitrary amount of content. Well, they decided for Street Fighter V they were going to make an option where you actually could purchase the DLC with in-game currency that you've earned just by playing the game. So no longer do you have to go and fork over your real dollars to get in-game dollars to buy the DLC.
Right.
So that's actually kind of really nice, and they plan to continue adding more content to the game that way, and you'll be able to get the additional content just by playing the game like you normally would. So.
It's going back to the old school Super Mario, Smash Brothers, and Mortal Kombat style. Where in Mortal Kombat you had to earn in-game coins and different types of rubies and gems and whatnot to buy certain characters. And so they're doing this. They're doing a similar kind of concept, which I think is great because that's something of old that it's great to see brought back, rather than having to deal with the new.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, I understand the purpose of it for small developers, but if you're a large developer, I don't.
We at Ghost Incorporated do not approve of microtransactions.
Small games, I kind of get it. Like if you're a small company, I understand it. But when you're Capcom, if you're EA or you're Bethesda, I don't like it. I like expansions. I'll agree with expansions, but that's different.
Now, curious, what's like a good sampling of the DLC that we're going to see in Street Fighter V?
Well, from what I know, it's going to be more characters. So, like, Street Fighter 4 Ultra has every character that they've done so far. But the original Street Fighter 4, there are certain characters that you didn't have. I believe one of them is like Evil Ryu, and they have different move sets. So you couldn't get that character. You'd have to actually buy. I believe you could buy an upgrade to Ultra from what you had. Or you could buy Ultra outright. And I'm assuming we're still going straight because no one said turning.
Correct. I'm kind of just driving to London at this point.
Yeah, why not?
Because I don't know where any of these other places are. So.
But yeah, and then they might do some map content, but there's no reason for it because maps are just backgrounds in fighting games. They don't affect the gameplay at all.
They just make things look cool.
They would take that. That's like I could see them doing that as
That's
well.
a good Steam Workshop item.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a
That's cool.
Yeah, because
That looks-
why put a lot of effort into making those types making maps for a game that they don't really make any difference. Let the community make them, and then then add them in.
Yeah, and just make sure that they don't have anything negative.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's a good idea.
let the community do the work for you.
Uh-oh. I gotta go
Bad
pee. I gotta press P for wipers.
That's unfortunate for you. It's not raining here.
I thought you were referring to the fact that you have to use the bathroom. I was very confused.
I thought that at first, but then I was like, "This is why would he tell us this?" It's kind of extraneous information.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, the Smite World Championship will be taking place in January, specifically the 7th through the 10th at the Performing Arts Center in Atlanta. So if you're near there, or you like Smite, or you like World Championships in general, that's both the PC and the console versions of the game will be at that championship event. And if just basing it on last year's ticket prices, it was about $50 to see for the base price last year. So I'm gonna assume it's somewhere around there still for this year. Could be more, could be less. So that's a thing to look forward to if you like Smite.
Or MOBAs in general.
Or MOBAs in general, or World Championships in general, or esports. Any of those people probably would enjoy going. Let's see. Blizzard has come up with an interesting way to potentially reduce WoW queues with this new PvP Mercenary Mode. Basically what it does is it lets you choose to fight for the opposite faction of you if you're waiting in a long queue. So if the Horde has a lot of players waiting and there's...
The Alliance don't, let's say, because
Right.
they're cowards.
You could go and play on the Alliance side as a Horde, as if you were an Alliance member, and you would get all the same rewards and just as you would normally, but now you don't have to worry about waiting. We're gonna exit, by the way, for the London exit. So you don't have to wait to sit in a queue when just to be able to do your to get your daily rewards or however that works.
Right. Just to get your PvP rewards. I'm curious if they're ever going to implement that with the dungeon system. Like dungeons and raids.
Yeah.
Because that could be something they could do as well, because if you have a lot of members of the Horde and they're just all doing raids, or there's no one doing raids on your side, but all the Alliance are doing theirs, especially with LFG looking for group, or LFR looking for raid, it would make a lot of sense to do that. See, that I'd probably checkbox in my settings, like, yeah, I'll do a dungeon or a raid with them.
Right.
But PvP for the Horde, baby, I ain't going. Nope, it ain't happening.
The other thing is, as Freelance said, you can still be for the Horde straight up, and you can say, you don't want to do the switching automatically. You will still be able to do that.
You're a purist.
So if you are a purist, you may stay rather than working for the enemy and just wait it out. So that's a thing, which should work out well, especially for those who are tired of waiting in queues. And the last piece of news that I have here is that Deadpool has returned to Steam. Woo!
Oh god! Oh
assuming
god!
you don't have Deadpool, it's $39.99. It very ungracefully left the Steam store back in 2014 for no visible reason to people other than some potential problems,
lawsuits and
lawsuits and whatnot that they encountered. But it's back, which is a super bummer. If you forked over a premium to get one of those unused Steam keys, thinking that the game would never come back.
$60. Yeah.
So it's back now. So if you do want the game, haven't already bought it, the game is available now on Steam.
There you go.
And that is our news for today. Guys, have any closing thoughts?
I think there's actually only one thing, and I don't know if it's necessarily news, but an update is that we found out that RuneScape raids, members.
Yep, members only. Yep,
of course.
we did find that out. What is with these? I've never had this many engine malfunctions at 38% damage.
This is why I went back after the Mafia.
Oh, like, no, this just recently happened. I ran into it. We're getting off here.
I could tell.
Okay, alright, just making sure.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh! Yeah, I'm getting off.
Ramming!
I was gonna try and... I don't know if this is gonna work, Andy.
It worked once before.
I don't think we're gonna... Are you gonna...
Oh, I'm stuck.
You're stuck? Uh-oh.
Wait a second. Oh, I'm free.
You're good? Alright, I'm just gonna take the thing to Felix, though. Don't worry about me. I'll pay the money.
Alright.
I was so close. By the way, I was seconds away from saying, oh, I haven't taken any damage on this trip. As I thought that, I went, whoop, right on the side.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think I caught a guardrail and rode a guardrail for a little bit, which is what caught me up to 38% damage. So,
well, I made it here.
Well, thanks for watching this episode of the Euro Truck Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. I have ran into a guardrail. But if you like this video and you like crashing into guardrails and stuff, hit the like button, and then while you're there, hit the subscribe button as well, and we'll get all these videos to your sub box, and we will see you guys next week.